Hi, and welcome to Matt Holman Talks Mental Health, the podcast where I have the opportunity to sit down and talk to amazing humans about their journeys and their stories with mental health. For this episode, I'm so excited to welcome Jonny Benjamin to the conversation. Welcome, Jonny.
Hello.
Hello, welcome. Lovely to see you. Fantastic to get the chance to sit down and talk to you as well. So welcome. As I will always do, just a brief introduction, how we got to this conversation, and then I'll ask Jonny. Jonny, you can do a perfect introduction to who you are and what you're doing as well. We can have a great conversation about certain things that you're involved with at the moment, because I know that's part of the topic that we want to make sure we cover. For anybody that is watching, you'll see that I'm not wearing my MHG merch today. I'm actually wearing a t-shirt that says Beyond. All will become apparent as to what that means as we go into the conversation. And no doubt, if you've read the notes to this already, you'll already have an idea and an indication. So Jonny, I've known maybe not to talk to necessarily, but only for a little while to talk to and to sort of communicate with, but I've known of Jonny for a very long time. He has a wonderful story and it's all out there in the public space. So anybody who hasn't read or heard or seen or watched the documentary about Jonny's journey, really do go and check that out. But this year, my company, Simpler, we are aligning with a charity called Beyond, Jonny will talk about, because we want to help support more conversations of mental health with especially young people. And it is a passion area for anybody that knows my background, my experiences. You'll know why I'm passionate about this too. So the opportunity to sit down and to have this conversation with Jonny today was one that I just could not resist. I was so happy and excited to be able to do this. So Jonny, I'm going to let you do a proper introduction. I've sort of alluded to a few things in there, but it is an absolute pleasure to have you with me.
Oh, no, thank you. Honestly, thank you so much. And yeah, I'm going to talk about Beyond, but we're so grateful to you for your support to the charity, because yeah, it means so much, honestly. But yeah, I'm Jonny, and so I'm 34 and I'm from London, and yeah, my background is I have a diagnosis of schizoaffective disorder, which I got when I was 20. And yeah, that changed everything for me, and I was really unwell for quite a while. And but that led me into the world of mental health campaigning and public speaking, and yeah, just doing what I can really to raise awareness and try and break the stigma around mental illness and suicide as well. That's also quite a big area for me, is suicide. And that's what led me to setting up the charity Beyond as well, to help other young people that are struggling.
Brilliant. So we're going to get into a little bit more of the depth of those stories as well, if that's okay with you, Jonny, because not everybody listening will have heard all of your story, or maybe they don't know that much about your story. And I always talk about your journey and your story with my delegates when I'm training. So it's a big part of that learning journey for all of us as humans. So I'm going to ask you, Jonny, the big question that I always ask everybody is your story, your journey with mental health. Tell us this bit of a story about your life, what we need to know, and of course, just to be careful with everybody listening, that if you do talk about certain subjects, that trigger warnings, we'll put those on here as well, just to make sure everybody's comfortable. If you feel uncomfortable with any of the conversation that Jonny's talking about, please do take care of yourselves. That's the most important message to send out there as well to everybody listening. So Jonny, I'm going to throw that over to you, if that's okay. Tell us a story.
Yeah, sure. So my story starts in the 80s, the good old 80s. I was born in 1987. It's my birthday very soon, next week.
Is it? Oh wow. Well,
yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. January 31st. And I was born in North London, Northwest London. And I had I don't know, I guess a kind of typical childhood, I'd say. I grew up in sort of a typical family unit, mum, dad, older brother. And yeah, like at first everything was okay, seemed okay. But I think for me, things kind of shifted when I was like 3-4 years old. I started to experience night terrors, what we call night terrors, like really vivid, like dreams that come to life, nightmares that come to life. And I was seeing things that weren't there and hearing things that weren't there, and I didn't sleep properly. I became isolated, and I was a bit violent as well, actually, as a kid. And my parents obviously were like concerned, of course. So they took me to the doctors a few times, and then eventually I was referred to a child psychologist, and I saw a psychologist for a while. But we didn't talk about it, like as a family, or no one sort of explained it. I'm not blaming anyone, but no one really explained anything, or I didn't really understand any of it. But we knew there was something there from an early age. And then in school, I don't know. I just kind of I never felt like I fitted in school, but I just kind of tried to get on with it as best as I could, through primary school and then secondary school. And I went to so I'm Jewish, and I went to a really big Jewish secondary school, and yeah, that was really hard, I found, because again, I didn't fit in. I just wasn't like the other kids at school, really. I wasn't into the same music or sport, or but I just tried to sort of keep my head down and just get on with things, get on with work. But I'd say in my mid-teens, it just became too difficult. When I was like 16, around 16, I'd say. And I got these I started to get these really low moods. And again, I just didn't understand what was going on. I just felt so low, so much of the time. And it just got harder and harder. I mean, I was trying to conceal it. I was trying to cover it up because I was embarrassed, and I couldn't really talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it. I couldn't talk about it. I didn't have the language. But when I was 17, I went to my doctor because I was getting quite scared of some of the thoughts that I was having. I just knew it wasn't right. I didn't know what was going on, but I just knew it wasn't right, the way that I was feeling. I went to my doctor, and so my doctor referred me to CAMS, the Child and Adolescent Mental Health Service, and I saw a psychiatrist at CAMS. But I had my assessment, and then there was this long waiting list, as as we all know. And I gave up waiting, and I just said, "Oh, I've just got to try and do this on my own somehow." And I thought I'd go off to university, and that would be my kind of savior. I'd have a new start. I'd have a fresh start. I left my home in London. I went to Manchester to uni, and I thought, it's gonna get better as soon as I have a change, as soon as I start afresh. And university was, I had some really good times. at university. I made some amazing friends, but I really started to sort of plummet at university. I don't know. I felt like I was really going crazy at university. That's what I felt like. Started to, self-harm and misuse alcohol, and I just felt more and more out of control at university. I would go to my GP, and we tried different antidepressants, but I don't know, it wasn't really doing much, to be honest. And then in my third year, I had a proper breakdown. I had a psychotic episode, which was obviously horrible.
Yeah, of course.
I felt like I was out of control. I felt like I was being possessed, and I ended up on the streets screaming and shouting and not being able to control what was going on. And ultimately that led me to being admitted to a psychiatric hospital and getting this diagnosis of schizoaffective disorder. And for me, that was the worst moment of my life, getting that diagnosis, because I thought my life is over now, with this. I was 20, and I just thought, with this diagnosis, that's it, in terms of, I don't know, a family or career or relationships, or I just didn't see a future. And basically I spent a month in the hospital, and then I ran away from it because I gave up. I literally gave up. Literally just, my head just kind of snapped. Something in my head snapped one night, and I just said, right, I'm done. And I made the plan to run away from the hospital, go to a bridge, and that was it. Because I was done. And I did. The next morning I did. And I managed to get out. I said I needed a cigarette. They let me out, and I ran. And I ended up, on the edge of a bridge. But, you know, thankfully for me, there was this person that was walking past, a young man, and he came and he stood next to me. And there was just something about this person that just, I don't know, just took me away from my headspace. It just really, changed my perspective on things. He was just so, like cool. He was just so cool with everything. Like he was so like, in the hospital where I was, it was just, I was in the suicide ward, and I don't know, I just wasn't treated like a human being. But this guy was like, I don't know, talking to me like, you know, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. And I needed to hear that from someone, because, you know, in the hospital with the psychiatrist, my psychiatrist was so, you're really ill, Jonny, you're really ill. And, you know, we don't know if you're going to get better. And like, it was, I mean, how can you, but this guy on the bridge was just he was so calm and grounded and optimistic. And we had this conversation that, you know, really like shifted something. You know, it was I was still in a bad place, but something changed in that conversation. And eventually he convinced me to come for a coffee. And I agreed. I found a connection with someone, you know, so I wanted to, but you know, someone had called the police, and the police turned up, and it got a bit messy with the police. I got a bit panicked, and I was handcuffed, and I was taken away. And me and the stranger just separated at that point. And I was taken away. I was sectioned, and then I was taken back to the hospital that I ran away from. And look, I still felt really rubbish, but there was a little bit of hope. There was a little bit of hope from this guy on the bridge, you know, and his positivity. He was so positive. And so, and from then it was a long journey, really. Quite a few years of just I don't know, just really not being able to talk about it, or and my family and my friends, we just didn't know what to say. And it was just really, I couldn't really work properly for a long time. I was just I didn't feel like of this world, if you know what I mean. Like I just felt always like just this alien for quite a long time. But in my mid-20s, things changed in my mid-20s when I started to finally talk, like really talk, and get help, get therapy. And my meds, you know, I didn't want to take my meds for a long time, but I guess in my mid-20s, I started to get to grips with everything. And I hadn't mentioned, but a big part of this was dealing with my sexuality.
Right. Okay.
This big part of it, because obviously being Jewish, coming from a Jewish background, going to a Jewish school, you know, I was really struggling with my sexuality. So it was all linked. And in my mid-20s, I finally I came out, and that's when things just really got better. I mean, look, I wouldn't say recovered. I don't I'm very careful. Like the word recovered maybe isn't appropriate, but I just got to a better place, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then my well, I started to work with different mental health charities because I wanted to try and make a difference at this point. Now I felt, okay, I can give something back. And I started to work with Rethink, who's a national mental health charity. And, I told them my story, like I've told you, and they said to me, wow, that thing on the bridge is amazing. Like, why don't you try and find that guy on the bridge? And I was like, okay, I mean, I don't know how we're going to find him, or, he could be anywhere. But we decided to go with it. We decided to launch this search to find this guy. And this was 2014. And we put it on social media and it just kind of went viral. It was really surreal, really surreal. And the most amazing thing is he came forwards through Facebook, the power of Facebook. And yeah, basically his wife saw a post shared of a friend, shared it, and she saw it, and she told Neil, and Neil saw it and saw my face. And as soon as he saw my face on the picture, he was like, wow. Yeah.
And you didn't even know his name, right? You didn't even know his name.
Nope. No, because that conversation on the bridge was really powerful, but I remembered how he made me feel. Yeah. I didn't remember maybe the details of his name. But I just remembered how he made me feel. That was amazing.
Right. Yeah.
And then obviously to be reunited when, he came forwards and we had this reunion, and wow, that was just so, it was just so powerful, to be reunited and to sit down with him and to talk and to say thank you to him was just so, it's just phenomenal. Yeah. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And then he was so keen to try and help me with the whole mental health thing, and we started to work together. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that was just kind of it was amazing. It was amazing. But I also, at that point, I started to struggle quite a lot with my mental health again.
Yeah.
And so that was 2014. And then, I'd say the last few years have been actually really tricky with my mental health. I've had a few relapses and gone back into hospital. Yeah. Which is never fun, as you know. I don't know. I'm really trying at the moment to try and really look after my mental health.
Yeah.
And manage things like my stress levels and my sleep and my alcohol intake and all of that sort of stuff is. I kind of know what I need to do. Yeah. Really. I don't always do it, but yeah, I kind of know what I have to do. Sure. But it has been, there's been lots of quite difficult moments, but there's also been lots of, really awesome moments in the last few years, including starting the charity Beyond. I started it with Neil in 2018. Mm-hmm. And that was a real highlight, getting to, actually start this organization that would help young people in schools and colleges and universities, and just seeing it grow, and seeing people like yourself now get involved is so cool. We're all about trying to get help and support to people early on. So we give support directly to schools, so they can bring in counselors or art therapists or psychologists, whatever's needed. Yeah. Which is so good because, we all know about the waiting list and the lack of choice in terms of treatment for mental health. But we can sort of tailor, if someone needs a specialist in trauma, we can bring in a specialist that, deals with trauma. Yep. So I feel we're in a really fortunate position. We don't have to like, there's no sort of ties to the government or anything. So we don't have to follow, we can do things a bit outside the box, you know,
Yeah.
which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
At the moment, yeah, my time is very much focused on the charity. Yeah, I feel, I just feel very lucky. I'm very lucky, obviously, to any moments that I have that I'm feeling good, I'm feeling well. I feel always so. I never take it for granted, you know. Now I always yeah. I feel really really blessed when I'm well, when I'm good, and I just try and stay on that path. Look, I might fall off it again, and have a relapse, but I think what helps me the most is the people around me, the people that I work with, my family, my friends. Yeah, I think without that support, and of course Neil, and without that support, I think I would be in a very different place. So yeah, I do feel very, 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 very lucky, actually.
Wow, incredible. I know your story, but I listened to you tell me your story now, and I've just found it fascinating and incredible. And I'm sure everybody listening is going to find it, inspiring, which is what it is, right? You're an inspiring individual who helps others. Maybe you don't always know how much you help others and support them, but it's incredible. And you're talking about that sort of, you're on that path. And what I really think is the clear definition in there is that you're on this path, but we don't know what that path looks like, do we? Sometimes there are bends and twists, and sometimes there are, it reverses on itself at times. And I always think of, I can only deal with what today is going to bring me, right? I can't deal with tomorrow because I'm not there yet. So who knows what that's going to be and how that's going to work. And we were talking before we recorded this, about our weekends, and we both had really positive, exciting, fun weekends, and that's really important though as well, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Hugely important.
But it's interesting because a lot of the people around me are very like forward planning, like. And people get frustrated with me because they're like, Jonny, why have you not got a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a 1-year plan even? Oh. But, with my mental health, I'm very much kind of, I don't know, I try and be in the moment. I just try and take the day as it comes. Yeah. I think, but I just don't think I think society wants us to have our whole lives planned out.
All the answers,
and I think I've stopped doing that now, I think, for sure.
Just a quick question on that from your perspective then, Jonny, if I may. You're working with young people. Do you think that's one of the big challenges that they're facing right now as well? Young people need to have their lives mapped out in front of them.
Yeah. And also, of course, the whole comparison thing, like they're seeing other people who, oh, I bought this house, or I'm on this holiday, I'm doing this, Instagram or whatever. And even if they bought that house, it doesn't mean that their lives are perfect as, as it makes out on Instagram. I think that's I didn't grow up. I'm so glad I didn't grow up in a world where we had social media, because I know myself, I would have been constantly comparing, oh my God, that person is doing so well, that person's doing so well, that person's doing so well, they're doing so well, and so I think that puts even more pressure on young people in particular, to have these and obviously you have influencers, and don't get me wrong, some are fine, but I don't know, some are it's just not realistic. It's just giving young people,
it's the motivation behind what they're doing though sometimes, don't you think?
Yeah.
Is it about actually helping support the message, or is it about just raising my profile and becoming famous and celebrity, that sort of instant celebrity sort of status, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit of a scary world out there, to be honest, particularly for young people, I think.
Yeah.
No one's given them the sort of tools to navigate.
No.
Louisa, who is the CEO of Beyond, always says, when we teach young people to drive, we don't just give them the keys to the car. We spend so much time with them, going through road safety and how to look after the car. And we don't do that with social media or phones. We just give a young person their phone and say, off you go. And we don't maybe guide them, how do you deal with all that comparison. How do you deal with cyberbullying?
Yeah.
It's a really, I don't know, it just makes me feel really uncomfortable. The lack of kind of education and guidance and support we give to young people who are on their phones, on, you know, TikTok, and there's a lot of work to do, a lot of work.
No, definitely. I think that's a great analogy as well, the whole car analogy.
Right.
I think it works so well, and one that I've not heard before. So I'm possibly going to borrow that for future opportunities. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I want to bring this to a part of the conversation. So we're recording this in January, but in February, there's a big moment for the charity as well, isn't there? And I do really want to take a few minutes to sort of get your thoughts around sort of what you're doing. 9th of February is the date, by the way, for anybody that's listening. So sign up, get your schools involved. Jonny, what is this all about? So there's this Wellbeing Festival, school Wellbeing Festival that you have. I guess it's your sort of highlight of the whole year of events, right?
Yeah, I mean, we only started it during lockdown, during last year. You know, it was such a tough winter last winter, 2020. No, hold on, 2020. Yeah, it was such a tough winter. You know, obviously everyone was in lockdown. The schools, young people were off school, online, and we just wanted to do something to engage young people and teachers and families around their mental health. So we created this, mental health festival for schools and colleges, and it was just amazing. Just so many. Well, we had 1,200 schools and colleges take part last time. We're hoping for more this year, but yeah, essentially it's a whole day of different activities. There's a live program of events, but then there's also workshops that schools can book. We try and match up schools to their local providers, their local kind of art therapists or mindfulness practitioners, and so local schools can book local practitioners, which is great. And then we've also got something for teachers in the afternoon and something for parents as well in the evening, on looking after their mental health. So we try and do something for everyone. Also, young people with special educational needs, there's hopefully something in the festival for everyone, because we want everyone to feel like they're included, and everyone to get something from it.
Yeah, and you've got some big names involved in that as well, right?
So, Joe Wicks this year is doing a kind of workout and Q&A with one of our youth members. Of course. And he's just so awesome. He's just so lovely. And then last year we actually had Dame Kelly Holmes did a workout with us, and also Katie Piper did an interview. So it's great. I mean, we've already reached 800 schools and colleges. So we're hoping in the next few weeks to reach over 1,200, because that was last year's 1,200. And we just also, actually, the other thing that I'm really excited about, we've hired out, there's an organization that we're working with called the Zen Project. And they've turned an American school bus into like a Zen den for young people. So they take this school bus to different schools, and young people come on board, and they do some mindfulness and some breathing and some yoga. And so we're taking this bus around to different schools, and I can't wait. So the kids are going to get on, and it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be really cool. I'm really excited about that.
Right. So for everybody that's listening or watching this, you need to go back to your children's schools. If you have children, you need to go back to them, and you need to encourage them to sign up. How do they sign up, Jonny? Where do they go? Do you know where it is?
Just go to Now and Beyond. Just go to nowandbeyond.org.uk, and you can sign up to the school. You can sign up to the parent workshop in the evening.
Brilliant.
All the stuff is on the website nowandbeyond.org.uk.
Amazing. And for anybody that didn't hear that, you'll see it in the links to this anyway, so go and click on the link that we provide you with, because it is important. And we're launching this in advance of this event because we want to make sure that we get as many people involved in it as possible. And I'm going to be lobbying for all the schools in my local town to make sure they all sign up, and with all the people that I'm connected to as well. So it is really important. Oh, Jonny, it's a million things going on, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
we're right towards the end of this, and I hate to think that we've got to finish this, because I could sit here talking to you for hours about this stuff, Jonny. I really could. But what I do is at the end, I always ask my guests to just give any thoughts, words of wisdom, any insights, anything you want to share, just to sort of maybe galvanize people, or put that fire inside people to make that difference, because we can all do that. And that's the thing that I think we're both very, very passionate about, is in enabling these conversations for others to join. Right, that's what it's there. So I just want to say a huge thank you, Jonny. I genuinely mean this from my heart, that I love everything that you do. I don't love the fact that you've been through your life experiences, but I love the fact that you've taken your life experiences and you can use them to shape something that's positive for the future. I really love that. So thank you. I really genuinely mean that. Before I get too emotional about it all, I'm just going to hand it over to you.
No, thank you so much. Honestly, your support makes such a difference. We're a small charity. We're only small, but we're pretty mighty, I'd say. And we're trying to do a lot. We want to do a lot. So yeah, honestly, your support means the world. It really does. It really does. And the thing with me and mental health, I find, is that it's still so kind of like just surface level. I find, we have like mental health awareness days and weeks, and that's fine, but we need more. It needs to be more than just oh, we're doing something for mental health awareness day or week. Like with our festival, we have our festival, but the thing with our festival is that we're trying to join up the local community, the local schools, the local providers, and in terms of a long-term relationship. We don't just want this to be a one-day thing. And that's the thing with mental health. So often it's just I get invited to give talks, and it's like, right, we've had Jonny in, we're done. Like,
oh, the magic happens. That's all right, don't worry.
Calendar invite. We've had Jonny in, we're done, tick. And
back to normal.
Yeah, we need more. We need more in our schools, in our workplaces, in our communities. We need to go a bit deeper, I think. I don't think we're going deep enough. That's my kind of...
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what? You got to start from one point, and you can go deeper once you get through the surface, right? You got like the permafrost at the top, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And once we break through the permafrost, we can start to actually do stuff deeper down. But you're absolutely right, Jonny. Yeah, I love that. I think that's great. And listen, I want you to take care of yourself and look after yourself in all of this, because a lot of things going on as well. And the good thing is, and you said it in what you mentioned earlier, people around you, that is an important part. For all of us, so many people, and I say that to the audience listening to this. If you're feeling alone in your thoughts, if you're worried about your thoughts, if you're worried about things that are going on in your life and you're not talking to other people, please do always know there are people out there who are willing to listen, who are willing to, to support you as well. Please find those moments or those places where you can get support. There are charities out there, of course. There's Beyond, which is helping young people to learn more about the conversations of mental health, but there are charities out there that help us all if we need a safe space to talk. Samaritans, of course, exists to help support those conversations. You can call for free on 116 123. You can text a shout on 85258. There are many different places. Please know you are not alone. Is that a fair comment, John?
Oh, absolutely. You're not alone. No, you're not alone, for sure. There is so much support out there, so much help. I mean, it can be better, and we're working on that, but there are people there to listen, for sure. Yeah.
And the first line of support is those people we're closest to. That should be the reality, right? Our family, our friends, those people around us in our localized communities, we should all be there to support each other through whatever it is we're going through. Jonny, it's been an absolute pleasure. Genuinely, you're an absolute star. So keep on shining bright, and I look forward to catching up with you at some point soon.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Thank you, honestly.
You're more than welcome. Look after yourself. Bye.
Yeah, you too.